Hey guys, my name is Bando, this is Proxy Bando, and this is an overview of my Shattered Legion's Salamanders. The army is not complete, but this is what I have finished, what I have currently work in progress, and my plans for the future of the army. So, as you can see, my desk has been tidied, and that is the first step in hopefully improving the content and the regularity of content for you guys. I think that it shows a little bit more respect for you from me, and a little bit more respect for me by me. I'm going to endeavour to try and keep this place clean and tidy. I'm going to try and reposition my paints so that I'm only ever using what I'm using, and then it comes off the desk remains clear. So, I have just finished my command squad for my Salamanders, and this was done for Kenny's community painting challenge. This month's or this week's challenge was send in the cavalry, and I was going to do a whole video on painting these guys, but it really didn't come out very well. The quality was awful, and I couldn't get on with it, and it really spurred me on to getting this place tidied up for you. And it was these three guys. Now I wanted to do a whole video on using artists' acrylic paints rather than model paints, which is actually what those three and this guy are painted with. These are painted with those big squeezy tubes of paint, and as you can see, they've worked. Does this mean I'd recommend you go out and do that yourself? Probably not. They don't handle the same, they don't dry the same, they're not as tough. So, good if you're in a pinch and you're painting something like scenery, but not for everything else. So let's start with the commander of the force. The commander of the force is this guy. His name is lost to the annals of history, and he is simply known as the Albino, or Albino, depending how you want to pronounce it. He served during the assault on the Tempest Galleries on the last battle of the Unification War, and led a recon element there who placed locator beacons for the assault drill assault on the gallery. He says he's never been to Nocturne, he's never met Vulcan. He was too busy, out on the fringes of space, doing what, the Astartes did during the Great Crusade. So he never managed to make it back, and the first time he actually set eyes upon his own Primarch was as they were mustering to drop into Istvan. So he is accompanied by a command squad on Sparta warbikes, and these are made from Scout bikes, which unfortunately you can't get anymore, and it's a little annoying. The legs are all from the Outriders set, and this guy's actually, he's the obviously the command squad banner bearer. The banner is from a old Wood Elf kit, I believe, with some bits from Solar Auxilia in there. His arm that's holding it is from the Age of Darkness Praetor kit, and it's just some brass rod in there. The decals are from the new Command Squad kit. One bit I'm quite proud of is his arm. Now, you won't really be able to see it very well because I can't get the camera to focus this close anymore. The arm is actually a Mark III, the old Mark III arm, which is the one that holds the bolter like this. If you cut it in the forearm, around the elbow joint, you can literally just rotate the arm round and turn it into a Mark III arm holding onto the handlebars. His head's from the new command squad. The backpacks are from the Outriders. And they are just really a mishmash of bits from all sorts of different kits. Now, I wanted to really show off, not show off, but I've always liked this yellow scheme for the Salamanders. The scheme is often referred to as the Badab War scheme or the Rogue Trader scheme, but in canon nowadays it was worn by the Salamanders, or as they were known at the time, the Saturnine Rams, during the last battle of the Unification War. And these guys, I really wanted to show them being kind of living out of their bikes. You know, so there's lots of equipment, lots of tarps. They're maybe using loads of tarps to set up like observation posts, that sort of thing, and watching their enemies. There's a little cheeky bit of a world eater on there. Lots of shotguns. Not that I'd actually probably give them shotguns, but I do like shotguns as an aesthetic. Now, some of these guys haven't had the barrels drilled because these are ones I finished earlier. And it's very funny that you see a lot more of these guys than you do green salamanders in the Heresy. On top of that, we have the Retro Speeder, and this is the one with the Mark 6 crew that's a lot more harder to find. But I used the plastic missile launcher pod from the vehicle upgrade sprue. And I'm quite happy with the base. I think it's got that nice overgrown ruined city look. And we got a nice glow on the engines. Now I'm going to be getting a second one of those because I really enjoyed putting the kit together. And I'm probably going to equip it the same way actually, just use them as fast-moving kind of anti-tank guys. The model that started this army is this guy, and it's a Vigilator. And I like Vigilator. I love the idea of like sniper space marines. That's really cool. And I just had this image in my head of this marine with a cloak. Let me see if I can get this to focus for you. And this was the first one I did with this sort of Badab scheme. And after that was it. I was kind of hooked, and I was like, okay, I'm going to do some more of these guys. The cloak is actually the tail end of a Nighthaunt. So a little bit expensive of a conversion to do for everyone, but I had a spare, easy-to-build Nighthaunt that I thought looked good. After that, I built a Recon squad. And I intend to build a second Recon squad. And I've used lots of hooded heads, bare heads, because Salamander's most unique feature, obviously, is their skin tone. Now, keeping the Salamander thing about them, I went for Mark 3 armour rather than Mark 6 armour, because I really wanted to show them not as sort of sneaky recon types, but more like special forces. And these guys are like demolition experts. You know, these are heavily armed, fast moving. You know, I used some bits from some of the scout kits to give them like night vision goggles. They've all got rucksacks on their backpacks. I've put an apothecary aspirant that's assigned to them, so he's like an apothecary light that works with the team. And I also showed that, you know, maybe one of them had secured himself a heavier weapon. It's just a bolter in game, but you know, I liked the idea of him having like lugging an autocannon around. Now in the rules, I would just run these guys as a 10-man bolter squad. But I do plan to build more of them. I want to do a second 10-man squad like this. I want to do a 5-man squad with Nemesis bolters and a 5-man squad with shotguns. Because you can't have enough Recon Marines. Back when I was building this army, or I started this army, the Shattered Legions were handled a little differently. So I decided to have my Shattered Legion Apothecaries all be Salamanders. And this was one of the first models I 3D printed. And I was blown away that I could put together a model that everything apart from his base and his bolt pistol is 3D printed. And I was just like, this is fantastic, what a technology. Now, going back nowadays, yeah, the sculpt's not so great, the print quality's not so great, but still, it's absolutely fantastic what's possible with the technology. So, I have 3 apothecaries for the army. Well, at the moment I only have 2, technically. The second one is all plastic, and he's made from one of the Space Marine Heroes sets, with just a bunch of kit bits from other kits. This guy, I'm not entirely sure if I wanted him to be an apothecary when I started building him, but then he became just sort of a Techmarine, or possibly some sort of other console. He is made from an Iron Hands, I think he's an Immortal body, with the arms from the Pravian kit, I believe. And then the servo arm is from, I think, Anvil Industries. And we finally get to see who it is we're fighting with this army. Now, I hadn't decided who was chasing them. I always knew that the Shattered Legion was being chased by someone, but I wasn't entirely sure who it was going to be. And I finally decided it would be the World Eaters, because I haven't done the World Eaters yet for anyone, and with Iron Hands and Raven Guard I've got 2 black armies, and then with Salamanders I've got quite a dark army with the greens, but also quite grimy with the yellows and a lot of black on them as well. So the white really is a very nice strong contrast. Then I have a console, probably going to be an Opete, if that's how you say it, made from the new Mark 6 Marines, and these guys are traditional regular Salamanders. These guys in green, they're not part of the original force. They are survivors, you know, that banded together. So I have a tactical support squad with flamers, which is, you know, it's a little boring that you're just using flamers, but it's very sort of topical, you know, flavorful for the Salamanders. And I decided to use the 40k style flamers because they're a little bit chunkier. Maybe they're Dragon Breath flamers. You know, maybe they're just a bit different. And there's their sergeant with a nice chunky power fist. And this squad has one of my... It's a very simple conversion, but I'm very proud of it because it's just something you see very often. And it's where I've taken a Mark III head and a regular bull's head, and I've given him the half face mask that you used to be able to get from Forge World with a head like this. But I thought I would make my own, and it's a lot harder than it looks. But I think it comes out looking really cool at the end. So, that's my Salamanders at the moment. My plans so far are to add at least another speeder and another 10 Mark III Marines as a recon squad, another apothecary, and probably a command squad for this guy. Maybe something robot related to follow this guy around as well. Let me know what you think, if you have any questions, and if you're interested in seeing this for anything else. Thanks very much for watching, guys. My name's Bando, this has been Breakfast with Bando, and I hope that, you know, you're still around at the end of the video. And as always, if you want to support the channel, comments, subscribe, like, hit the share button. If you're in the UK and you shop at Element Games, you can use my code, which is down in the description, JAM737, to double your reward points. And that directly helps me buy more models to show you guys. Thanks, guys. Bye-bye.